Today, we're tackling something that keeps pipeline operators up at night: sudden, unexpected failures. You think everything's running smooth, then boom, out of nowhere, a failure.
And the crazy part? The culprit isn't always what people assume. It's not mechanical damage. It's not external corrosion. No, it's internal corrosion. More specifically, a sneaky buildup of debris and sludge that comes from well behavior you might not even be monitoring closely.
Yeah, so let's set the scene. Imagine a pipeline that's been operating fine for years, no red flags. But after a 90-day shut-in period, when operations start back up, suddenly you've got catastrophic internal corrosion.
And when we say catastrophic, we mean an 80 times faster corrosion rate than what you'd see under normal conditions. That's not just a little wear and tear, that's like going from rusting over decades to rusting in months.
So what happened? Well, the well itself was the problem. Specifically during that 90-day shut-in, organic debris, stuff like biomass and sludge, accumulated inside the well. And the moment that well restarted, that sludge got flushed straight into the pipeline.
And that's a big deal because pipeline hydraulics don't always move sludge like you'd expect. If the flow conditions aren't strong enough to push it all the way through, it sits in the line, in those low flow or stagnant zones. And once it's there, it starts eating through the pipe wall at insane rates.
And you know what makes this even worse? A lot of pipelines can't be pigged. No pigs means no easy way to clean out that sludge, so it just lingers and causes major damage before anyone even realizes it's there.
And this isn't just a one-off issue. It's a recurring pattern in certain regions, especially with horizontal wells.
Yeah, and let's talk about why horizontal wells make this worse. Unlike vertical wells, horizontal wells have a tendency to trap debris and biomass at the bottom. When that well starts back up, all that built-up gunk can get lifted into the pipeline. And if you've got fluctuating flow rates like the kind you get in startups or restarts, it's even more likely to happen.
The startup phase is key. It's when the worst of the worst gets carried into the pipeline, and we see the highest failure rates near the wellhead because that's where the heaviest, most corrosive material drops out first.
All right, so let's get into the real question. How do you prevent this from happening?
So first up, pigging. If you've got a piggable pipeline and you're restarting a well after a long shut-in, you need to run aggressive pigging operations. And I'm talking daily pigging at first until you're sure that no more sludge is coming through.
But like we said earlier, not all pipelines can be pigged. And that's where chemical mitigation comes in. Some operators use corrosion inhibitors, but let's be real. Those won't do much if the root problem is biomass rather than normal fluid-induced corrosion.
That's why another really effective approach is ethylene glycol injection. People usually think of glycol for freeze prevention, but it's actually a great way to neutralize acidic and corrosive water. Injecting glycol at startup helps prevent sludge from becoming corrosive and breaking down pipe walls.
And there's another sneaky trick: controlled flow ramp-up. Instead of slamming that well to full flow right away, gradually increasing the rate can help prevent the massive debris surge that happens if you just turn everything back on at once.
And that's a big one. If you open the floodgates all at once, you're practically inviting all that corrosive sludge to hammer your pipeline. But if you ease into it, you can help flush the system more gently.
So if you're an operator, what's the playbook?
If pigging is possible, plan for intensive pigging after well restarts, especially after long shut-ins. If pigging isn't possible, consider glycol or chemical treatment to neutralize sludge and prevent it from turning corrosive. Monitor flow dynamics and don't just restart a well at full throttle. Look at historical failure patterns. If other pipelines in your area have had similar failures, you're probably next.
And don't forget, shut-in wells are basically incubators for sludge. If your well has been offline for months, assume it's got buildup and plan your mitigation before you turn it back on.
Exactly. And one last thing. If you're relying only on historical corrosion data, you might be missing the full picture. Internal corrosion from debris doesn't follow the same patterns as regular corrosion. If you're in a high-risk area, stay ahead of the game.
And that's what we're here for, helping you see the unseen and stay ahead of failures before they happen.
All right, that wraps up today's episode of Trusted Pipeline Advisor. If you found this helpful, make sure to subscribe and share it with your team.
And if you've got a real head-scratcher of a pipeline issue, send it our way. We love a good challenge. Till next time, stay safe and stay ahead.
See ya.